Hey everybody, so vloggy vlog time. Bit of warning about this, it's going to be political and I have a canker sore on the side of my tongue, so I notice that whenever I talk for semi-long periods of time, it just really starts to agitate and really fucking hurt, so this video might be edited heavily, so they gave the long pauses. So, have you ever had a producer, video maker, content maker, or whatever, somebody that you respect, somebody that you admire, somebody that you really like, and one day, you know, you're looking around on Twitter, you know, just seeing what they're up to or whatever, and you find out that their beliefs heavily differ from yours or anything like that, and it's the sort of thing that makes you go, what, are you serious? And I know that, you know, we all have our own different opinions and we all have our own different beliefs, and that's perfectly fine, but it's strange, especially when it's one that makes no sense, especially when it, you know, comes from this specific person, too, you know, who, you know, doesn't seem like the sort of person who would be a supporter of Donald Trump. Now, obviously, naturally, I am not a supporter of Donald Trump at all. Mostly because I have absolutely no respect for him. Absolutely none. He has made it perfectly loud and clear that he is not a man that I would want in charge of the country at all. And my thinking for that is the fact that he doesn't give a shit about the common man as much as he would the common man or the common woman in general. And I would have to wonder, what even are his thinkings or his politics on gays or transgenders at all? Because I don't believe I've ever even heard anybody ever talk about what he thinks about the gay and transgender community. I would have to imagine that he doesn't give a shit about them. That he doesn't. That he would, you know, not want gay marriage to be legal. That he would not want, you know, any gay rights for them at all, despite the fact of so many things in the last couple of years changing and getting better, you know, with gay marriage now becoming more legal all throughout the country. And I don't want to call her out or anything like that, but, I mean, okay. Fuck it, because I need to give context. So, I have been a fan of Iron Liz for a number of years now, ever since I discovered her when she was originally with Linkara, and even brought me over to her blog, and I used to watch a lot of her stuff and even read some of her stuff. And I really liked her. You know, I enjoyed a lot of her stuff. I thought she was pretty cool and pretty spot on, and, you know, and find out tonight that she supports Donald Trump and is going to vote for Donald Trump. And at first I was wondering, is that a joke? No, she's being dead serious. She even went so far as to say on her Twitter, I don't care how many people I lose or how many people start unfollowing me, I'm just going to say this, I support Donald Trump. And she listed a number of reasons why. Is that she's sick and tired of her gay roommate being harassed and threatened by Muslims, specifically by their Muslim neighbors. I find it odd that she would say that specifically, but, you know, but I know nothing about it, because, I mean, I'm a pretty private guy, mostly because I am afraid of ever being judged. Were anybody to ever find out, you know, for a fact that I am bisexual, that I'm pansexual, I mean, I keep that very much to myself. I mean, I am very much a straight acting person. Though it's funny, a number of years ago when I was visiting my best friend Andy, who lives out in Kentucky, one day when we went out to lunch, out to a restaurant, we were just hanging out, talking, and and I realize now that when I talk and when I get overly animated, I will talk with my hands a lot. And later on when we got back to the house, Andy's mom actually pulled me aside and told me quietly, "Sweetheart, when we go in town, you do need to be careful about what you say and what you do." Because I couldn't help but notice that while we were in that restaurant and when you were talking, and when you especially were talking with your hands, there were two rednecks sitting across from us giving you the stink eye. Now, I want you to know, I will keep you safe. I will protect you if anybody ever dared to try to hurt you, because I care about you. But just so you know, that when you're around here, be really careful about what you do and what you say. Which sucks. So, thankfully, nothing happened. It's not like they came over and talked to me like, "Hey, boy, why don't you get a haircut? You hear me, boy? Are you deaf? Or are you just a faggot?" Or anything stupid like that. But, it's funny, too, because, I am very private about that. I am very secure about that. But I would also be afraid about what other people would think or say or even do if I ever did, if I ever was more open about my sexuality or about, who I am. Like, for example, about a year ago, I was lucky enough to be in a relationship with an amazing guy. Sadly, it did not last. I don't know why. And I remember one day he came over to the house and we were going to hang out and all that. And normally, whenever I greet him, I just, I would just run out to his car, because this was just how overly affectionate I can be with somebody who I deeply care about. And basically I would see him, pull up, like from my room, like here's my window and I can basically see the front of the street, and I would see his car pull up, and I used to just run out to his car to greet him. So the second he got out of his car, I would just be all over him. I would give him a hug and I would kiss him and all this stuff. And well, one day when I went out there to go greet him, this guy just happened to be walking along the sidewalk. And when I went out to go meet my boyfriend, this guy kept on staring at us the whole time. Now, I didn't hug him, and I didn't kiss him or anything in front of this guy, because I knew that he was just staring at us. And I didn't know what was going to happen. Of course, Anthony, always made it perfectly clear, if anything happened, I would protect you. So. And so getting back on track, I don't like judging other people or saying like, "Oh, well, you're stupid, if you're going to support this person." No, that is your right. We do live in a free country. That's your right to believe and think what you want to do, as long as if you're not hurting anybody. At least that's my belief. You can do and say whatever you want, as long as if you're not hurting anybody. The second you do that, go fuck yourself. And this is the sort of thing that really bothers you when somebody that you respect, somebody that you like, that they support a particular politician that you just fundamentally, morally do not agree with at all. And, I'm going to look this up real quick. Donald Trump. Donald Trump, gay politics. Donald Trump, nationwide marriage equality. Donald Trump calls himself a champion of gay rights. Donald Trump is against same-sex marriage. Donald Trump embraces gay community during a Republican National Convention. Donald Trump is teaching the GOP a different way to embrace gay. Okay, so... Hold on. It says, ask the gays. Here's our question. Marriage. Trump has been a constant opponent of marriage equality. He said that he opposed it because he was a traditional guy. Trump has expressed support for North Carolina's HB 2. He said the world rescind the Obama administration's guidance that transgender students be treated with dignity and allowed to use restrooms. Executive order. Trump has said that he disagrees with President Obama, blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump is against same-sex marriage. Donald Trump is teaching the GOP a different way to embrace gay rights. Okay, so from what I've been reading, it's a lot of fucking flip-flop politicking bullshit is what I'm reading on here about Donald Trump and the gay rights thing. So one thing is that he's against same-sex marriage, or at least he was at one point, unless he changed his fucking mind. And another one was that, he, has obviously issues with transgender community, which I just don't understand why. Because Liz, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, everybody's already calling Donald Trump's run a joke. Anyway, that it's a fucking joke. And he's just coming off as a complete jackass with every stupid thing that he says. And he's not a proper politician. I mean, I said this before. When I learned that anybody could be president, anybody, I mean, if you were born in America, I mean, the one rule, if you want to run for president, you have to have been born in America. I would have thought, and I said this before in another video that I did, I would have thought that in order to be able to run for president or ever even be considered presidential material, that you would have had to at least have served in the Senate, been a congressman, been a mayor, so that you get some experience from it, from how politics work. Donald Trump is not a fucking politician. He's a businessman, and not a very good businessman either. Okay? Let's get a bunch of fucking facts straight for those people that are so misinformed. He's not a good politician. He's not a good businessman. A good amount of his businesses have severely failed. And did he give a shit about his employees? Pfft, of course not. He's already filthy fucking rich. He doesn't have to give a shit about them. He doesn't even give a shit about the students. Because didn't he have like a Donald Trump funded college or school or whatever the hell it was, and it failed miserably and didn't give a shit about the students? Used the money that he made, even from some charities that he's supposedly done or anything like that, used it to pay off a bunch of his court fees and shit like that. And this is not a moral guy either. A guy who's been married several times, cheated on his wives several times, has had several different kids. And you gotta love the bullshit of a man who's been married so many fucking times and continues to, go on and on about, oh, well, Bill cheated, da-da-da. He didn't commit or admit to sexual assault. Now, there were charges against him. They never went to court or anything like that. And all these things about the fact that Bill Clinton sexually assaulted, they were consensual. Okay, it wasn't, the Monica Lewinsky thing was consensual. I don't remember, I don't know about the other ones. I know there was the Paula Jones one who did take him to court, but I think they settled out and he paid her off. There was another one. Was it Jessica Flowers? But I'm not as familiar with those. But nonetheless, I mean, for Donald Trump to be like, oh, well, I've heard, Bill talk about worse on the golf course. Like, Bill's not president right now, and he's not running for president. You are. And Bill never said anything like that in public while he was being recorded. You did. So, I mean, it's perfectly clear that he has absolutely no respect for women. None. And even the world, like, does not believe that he has any respect for women either. So, and he doesn't give a shit about the gays, as much as he may flip-flop about how he feels about it. And I'm pretty sure he does not give a shit about the transgender community either. So even if he did come into office, he wouldn't do anything to help you. He wouldn't do anything to help anybody unless if it helped himself. I mean, I could only imagine how much more idiotic things could possibly happen if he did come into power. Because this is a man who also has no control over his temper whatsoever. I mean, this is a guy who's set off by a tweet and just goes nuts. Imagine what would happen if some country said something about him. Like, pick for example, North Korea says something bad about him that pisses him off. Would he be willing to go to war with North Korea over that? Who knows? Of course, that's a little bit hyperbole, but I wouldn't put it past him. Like, they said something about my hair! They said something about my hair! Bomb the bastards! I was gonna say something else, but my brain just kind of blanked. There's something else about his politics, but I can't remember what. It'll probably come back to me later. And thankfully, my tongue is not bothering me that much, thankfully. But it's just like, god damn. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I can understand how some people would, because I've heard a few, like only a few people who I work with at my new job. One person tried to claim, something like, oh, well, Donald Trump, he's a good businessman, and one of the other coworkers had replied, no, he's not! A number of his businesses severely failed. He only walked away because, tax loopholes and God knows what else. And because, he's a schemy businessman. He's not a smart businessman. He's a schemy businessman. And fuck him. Fuck him. And no, I don't hate him or anything like that because he's rich. Of course, I do gotta wonder. I mean, are there, because I'm sure there are plenty of billionaires who I would hope are actually good, decent human beings who used their money and their businesses and ran good, respectable businesses, took care of their employees, and were decent, moral people, and pay their taxes, and give plenty of their money to charities, and are good, decent people. I would like to believe that. I would. But I am such an old, cynical fag at this point that more than likely this world just is not full of good, decent people anymore. At least from a lot of what I've experienced. Anyway. People suck. And people are fucking stupid. It's just... it's upsetting and it's a tad depressing at the same time.